Hey guys, Lauren here with Bizrok. In this week's video, I want to talk to you about something that is less fun, but guys, it's a necessary evil, especially in the dental space, and that is consent forms. Now, hopefully you didn't cringe whenever I said that, and hopefully you're not thinking, oh gosh, we don't have any of those. Hopefully you have bukus of consent forms, okay? Guys, you have to have a consent form for every type of procedure that you do in your office. You want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, protecting the practice, but also protecting your work. Now, we can give you guys some templates and guidance around consent forms, but you want to have a consent form for your patients before you do any sort of big procedure. Now, if your patient's coming in and they have to be sedated for a procedure, you also want to make sure that you have a signed consent form before they come in and before they're actually sedated, especially if a patient takes some sort of prescription before they show up, because if they're signing it on the spot, then it kind of voids out that consent. So you want to make sure that you're proactive with it. And then whenever you're doing a final restoration, guys, this is the one that we see that's typically forgotten about. You know, they're like, yeah, I did all of the consent forms on the front end. That's great. But I didn't do a final consent form to sign off on the work, or that the patient was happy with the new crown, bridge, or full set of, veneers that they got. Guys, protect your work. Here's what happens if you don't do a consent form. A patient could come in and have their work done, and they're smiling and they're like, yes, I love this. This is great. And then 2 weeks goes by and they decide that they want a different shade. Now what do you do? Well, if you didn't have the consent form in place to say that the patient was happy with that final restoration, or you don't have notes that they signed off on it, the patient might have a leg to stand on in requesting for something different to be done with their veneer, their crown, their bridge. And so guys, just for ease of business, trust us on this. Protect your work and make sure that you have a consent form at the end of that procedure for the patient to sign off on the fact that they're happy, okay? The other thing when it comes to consent forms and final restorations is making sure that we're also capturing our work and taking images and photos of that final crown, bridge, veneer, what have you. That way, if the patient walks out of your door and goes and eats something maybe they shouldn't, or somehow does damage to their final restoration, you always have your photo showing that when they left your office, your work was beautiful and flawless, and that they left with a great new smile. Outside of your practice, maybe they damaged it. So please, 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 I know consent forms aren't fun to talk about. They are a necessary evil, but guys, our job is to help you and guide you and make sure that you're protected. So again, if you need help, reach out to us. Or if you need certain consent forms, we'd be happy to share those to you. Otherwise, guys, as always, we can't wait to see you and serve you soon.